Hey everyone, how are you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I am here to conduct a tarot reading, an energy reading for the collective. This is not going to be for everybody, so you are required to take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I hope that everybody is well and that you're taking good care of yourself and your energies. So without further ado, we're going to get stuck into this reading. Before I do, yesterday I done a reading and the mic had actually sort of cut out for a bit and then came back on. I was referring to the energies or this, especially the energy surge that most people felt over the past few days, week. What I was saying is that if you feel sort of like a bit sort of like unstable, a bit wobbly, then, you know, you really need to sort of like make sure that you're just taking care of yourself, ground yourself. If you do feel, you know, tired during the day, try to take a rest or try not to do too much physical activities on your body because your body is going through so much right now. I'm also getting that you would need to like meditate and also just stretch your body out to allow your vessel to hold in more light, because you are holding in more light, more frequencies than ever before. And it really is like it's increasing. It may feel a little bit more intense, but the more that you practice, the more that you do this, at least even if it's like, if you can, 2 to possibly 3 times a day, certainly before you go to sleep, try to get in, you know, meditation, grounding, definitely shielding. And what I mean by shielding is, you know, shielding your auric field, you know, using meditation techniques in order to do it, connecting with the Earth Star. So you may want to do that barefoot or preferably outside in the garden if you have access to a garden, or in the park. And just really pull in or pull up the energy from the earth to connect with your vessel. And if you keep on doing it, you will certainly feel like a vibration coming through your feet, and just concentrate on being in the moment and allowing that energy to lift right up through every part of your body until it hits the crown chakra at the top. And as you're doing so, you will feel a slight sort of like throbbing, buzz, pulsing type of feeling. And if you can imagine like a pulse of like pure white light, sort of like, or gold white light, just pulsing around your body from top to bottom, head to toe. So that was kind of like what I was referring to. So this reading, the downloaded message that I got, and it came in quite heavy, quite strong, was you are about to cross over, you're about to cross into that new reality. You're literally on the cusp. You can see it, you can feel it, you are about to get there. So this is really amazing. As you can see, I've got the Page of Wands. Just before I put the camera on, this card came through. So this is all about you holding in those wonderful energies that you know been doing, or if you are about to do it, you know, just keep on working on that, holding that space, being in the moment, because everything is about staying in the moment right now. Just releasing, letting go, being guided, trusting that where you are is where you're meant to be, and just really just getting ready for this new experience. All right, so just remember, just take what resonates, leave the rest behind. So let's just shuffle this deck, and then we'll get into the reading. All right. All right, wants me to shuffle again. I'm hearing about 3 times. 3 times. Give it to me 3 times. Okay, so 3 is certainly a significant number. That's all about expansion, growth. All right, so let's begin. So we have got the 10 of Wands. So as I said, you're about to cross something. There's a lot of responsibilities that you may be facing or you're dealing with right now. You know, this is why I said it's important to just keep holding that sacred space, holding in the light, the energies, because this is a really significant time. And you know, whenever you're about to end something and end in a situation or a cycle, closing a chapter in your life, you always find that the ending part is always intense. It's always feeling like some days you just feel, oh, I just can't deal with this. Just want it all to go away. But in order for you to get through to the other side, you've got to break hard in order to push through. And it does take a lot of effort. It really, really does. But you can do it. You know, this is all about action. It's all the way how you have like a positive outlook on life. Yes, we know about all of the other stuff, but this is about just staying really positive. You know, sometimes if you look at something that you may feel is more greater than yourself, you know, always know that this is just part of the experience, part of the illusion. This is what you were meant to do. You're meant to be able to be powerful enough to conquer all of your, you know, your opponents, the situations that you were in. Obviously, this depends on where you're at, what's going on, obviously. But there's always this feeling of just staying with the inner faith. You know, stay prayed up, as always, and, you know, just protect yourself as best you can. The next card that we have got is the 9 of Discs. So I do feel, as I said, that once you get through this 10 of Wands, this 9 of Pentacles, even though it's in the reverse or 9 of Discs, this is what awaits you on the other side. But it's how you react to certain things. This 10 of Wands may act as sort of like a gatekeeper type energy or a blockage, or making you think that you will never be able to, you know, get through this hurdle in order to start working on and embracing and receiving this 9 of Pentacles. Okay, but all of those are just, you know, it's all to do with the consciousness. It's always, you know, always to do with, you know, what's actually happening to you, what's going on, and your reaction to that. Are you going to continue to live in fear, or are you going to continue to live with this optimism that all things are possible, that nothing is really holding you back? 'Cause, you know, being in a mental prison, etc., you know, freeing your mind. We have got the Ace of Discs or the Ace of Pentacles. So this is, you know, working towards something really amazing. And if you add the two together, the 9 and the Ace, or 9 and 1, you'll get the 10. So you've got endings and new beginnings. And then the last card we have got is the 7 of Swords, escaping, planning. You know, I was also getting that, you know, maybe you may need to be a little bit like evasive when it comes to certain people asking you certain questions about what it is that you're doing, and moving in silence, moving in a way that, you know, if you know that you've got certain people studying you, you know, in order to sort of take you down, in order to stop you, then it's you needing to use, you know, a lot of your sort of like your common sense in order to sort of get through this. This is about, you know, where you want to be. Yeah, preparation. Queen of Wands energy at the bottom of the deck. So we're just going to have a look and expanding this reading a little bit. Tell me about the Page of Wands. Yeah, not giving up. Still managing to stay afloat, looking after yourself, knowing that it's not over. You know, maybe some of you may be receiving sort of like threats of like permanent endings to where you are, you know, your situation. but you've been dealing with a lot of battles. Some of you may have actually had near-death experiences as well, and you are still here. If this is recent, then this is you sort of like still being in recovery. So, you know, you're just, as I said, you're just taking things in your own sort of stride, in your own way. Tell me about the Ten of Wands. What is the Ten of Wands about? The Ten of Wands, yeah, it's almost as if it's like trying to sort of like give you these little bit of, like, how can I say, like breadcrumbs of, like, this is what you're entitled to, only like a little bit of success now and again. What came through more stronger than that was this energy wants you to keep on connecting with it, so that there's this equal version of energy exchange. So if it keeps on giving you the fear, you're going to react back to it in fear, or you're going to get easily triggered, and then it's going to keep you in this sort of like, you know, table tennis of frustration. But this is known how to overcome that and turning that Six of Pentacles into the Six of Wands so that you can overcome it and move forward. Tell me about the Nine of Discs, Nine of Pentacles, please. Yeah. So getting through this sort of episode of, you know, the Ten of Wands, some of you, you know, may have actually gone through some kind of battle, and this is the moment in time where you need to start really healing yourself. Some of you, again, may not be in that position to really take action fully, because if you notice, you've got the Nine of Wands here, you've got the Page of Wands, looking at a fresh start. But, you know, as I said, if the energies that we've been experiencing, especially from the Schumann resonance, it has been really intense. So, like I said, some of you really need to sort of hold sacred space, you know, focus on your healing. I am getting a lot of more like spiritual maturity. So if you're dealing with somebody who's really mad at you as well and really upset or disappointed that you're moving on, because this energy to me feels as if it's connected strongly to the Ten of Wands. You know, that's their energy, that's their choice. You are not even focusing on that. You're moving away from it. Your head isn't turned in their direction anymore. You're moving towards your own destiny. Tell me about the Ace of Pentacles, please. We've got the Ten of Pentacles. So as I was saying before, if you focus on adding the Nine and the Ace of Pentacles, you're going to be getting the Ten of Pentacles. This is your goal. This is what you want. And they're going to do everything they can to prevent you from getting it. They want you to be in the Ten of Wands rather than in the Ten of Pentacles. And they really do require you. It's like energy harvesting, obviously. But you've got the Ten of Pentacles. That's in your goal, in your vision. And as I said, it's like you're coming out from this. You're about to cross over into this section here. What's the Seven of Swords about? I'm hearing escaping perils, dangers, escaping the matrix. Yeah, being held back. Some of you, as I said, may need to be a little bit evasive when it comes to if certain people may be asking you questions, you know, that has absolutely nothing to do with them. But they want to use your answers against you. So whatever you're going to be saying, they're going to use that against you. So be mindful of that. And it's ideal to sort of like hold back from giving out certain information. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. That's you just being sovereign. You don't have to tell anybody anything. So this is like a really good, you know, advice if you are surrounded by people that are trying to sort of still take you down, or, you know, they're curious. Underneath the bottom of the deck, we've got the Devil in the reverse. So as I said, moving away from any kind of attachments that are trying very hard to keep you down in the dumps, so that, you know, you can't go anywhere. But that is not going to be happening. Even this Queen of Wands, don't know if you can see, but she's not even looking at the Devil's energy. The Devil energy with the King of Wands in the reverse with the Three of Swords, the Ten of Wands, that relates to this energy here. Resisting temptation and moving forward. So this is amazing stuff. Okay, so let's get this reading wrapped up with some messages from the inner temple oracle. You're definitely creating space. You're guided away from them. You're definitely working on yourself. Chamber of soul gifts. So this is wonderful to see. A lot of you may be experiencing a lot of intuition that's coming up, and you know your psychic abilities are on point. You're moving towards freedom, escape, the inner spring, the inner bloom. I am getting a feeling of just like healing at this moment in time, especially when you are ending a cycle of pain and you are starting to begin a cycle of blessings, abundance, healing. You know, this is what we all want. Chamber of manifestation. So again, a lot of you still putting in that work to manifest your desires, manifesting this 10 of Pentacles, which is amazing stuff. And the last card that we have got, okay, 2 cards want to pop out. We've got the Holiest Temple, getting a real sense of deep cleansing. And then we have got Misaligned. So this is where, as I said, you may have been going through a lot of distortion, but it's wonderful to see that it came out with this card. This card, you know, is that you're breaking free from all of this. This is like a transformation. I'm hearing you're going to shock a lot of people. You're going to shock a lot of them. Let's see. Underneath the bottom of the deck, we've got the Darkest Night. So I suspect that whoever this reading is for, you've been working on your dark night of the soul. So staying more closer to yourself, quietly working through, you know, any issues that you've been dealing with, and still putting on that face of, you know, I am still here, I'm still around, you know, I am still going to make it, whether, you know, certain people like it or not. Was they hearing that you hide, you know, your traumas very well? You know, not to say that you are being maliciously deceptive, but I just sense that you're somebody who is very independent, and you just don't really like to put troubles on anybody, because you understand, you know, that we're all going through that. Sometimes in a way that is not really an ideal thing to do, but that's just your way of dealing with it. You are aware of it, but I think where you're just so like really spiritually independent, and you know, sort of like accountable and stuff like that, it's like that's just how you are. If it gets to that point where you really, really need help, you know who to ask for. But I feel you're somebody who is very strong, very determined, and you know, you just have your inner faith within you, and you know how to handle business, put it that way. But what is really good to see with this reading is the 9 of Pentacles. Even though it's in reverse, it's fine, it's okay. You've got the Ace of Pentacles, and then you've got the 10 of Pentacles. So this is what you're working towards. All right, so this is what I've got for you. I hope that that's helped you out for the situation. If it aligns with you, that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay. You continue to take care of yourselves, and I will catch you guys in the next reading. Take care.